Hello, hello! Let's talk about the new solar raid. This time we'll be talking about Altruia. So, a few things. This is probably a better list of what team you should be running. I will talk about a few caveats with a few of them, but also a few ways to deal with them. Um, yeah. Things to note. I have Moran's treasure. I do not have Privity's treasure. And also, side note, if you have not started working on Privity's treasure, she's the best character of the batch. She's also just the best buffer in the whole game right now, so you probably should. Um, just a bit of a PSA before we start. If you don't have Summer Helm, but you have Private with a treasure, you can replace Summer Helm with Private. I know not everyone has Summer Helm because this is an old character that does not get to be used too often. Alright, so we're going to be looking at these teams' performances in recording fashion, as always. But as you can see, there are a few things I change from this to this. For example, I'm using Rouge here instead of using Volume. Rouge is better, but it makes the team a little more annoying during the QT. It also means that dealing with the circle of breakable parts is also a bit more nightmarish. I strongly recommend, if you do that and you don't want to be annoyed, replace Bunny Aid with Grave. Okay? Grave will make your life way easier at dealing with the breakable parts. I just went with Bunny Aid because I just said fuck it. But not everyone has to do this. You don't have to suffer, basically, is what I'm saying. If you're wondering, how about Summer Helm in shotguns? I tried. I do 3.6. I lose damage. Bunny Soda, even if you have bad elemental on her, is worth running over Summer Helm in that team. It's actually surprising. I was extremely surprised, and you're going to be probably surprised seeing the damage she pulled out once we get to her. But point is, it is better to go like this. It lines up your burst easier with the whole boss for some reason. It's really weird. It's like the boss was made on a 15-second burst rotation with no CDR. It's really weird. You're going to see what I mean once we get to it. It's really, really strange. Another note is that Shisato and whatever the other girl's called, I don't know. I don't care about whatever the Licorice Recoil or whatever. I don't care about that as a collab, and they are not good units. So they're only 777 on my alt. Shisato might be worth actually investing in for Union Raid, but Takina, no. I don't really understand why we keep getting Burst 2 every update. It's getting really ridiculous. Like, we got Takina, we got Velvet, we got Nayuta, we got Brid. Before that, we got Bunny Aid. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we replacing Burst 2 all, again and again and again and again? Why is Grave already out of a job for the most part? Like, it's wild. Anyway, a rant aside, they're only 777, so they can definitely do better. But you know, I'm not made of mats, and I also have Privity, and I had Moran to invest in, and Moran is actually really good. Like, really good. If you have trouble with Ziz, you will want to actually do that treasure because she replaced Main Anchor and does her job better. It is wild. It is unironically wild. Okay, so that aside, yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you have Private Ish, I believe she's better here because you end up with enough reload speed that you don't spend any downtime whatsoever with that team, which is good. Um, and yeah, that's kind of it. So yeah, if you see there's a few units that are different, rely on this to make your teams, not this. I ran this boss 3 times in its entirety. 2 hours of this nightmare. So I've been testing a lot of teams to make sure that this is ideal. This is probably as ideal as it gets for me. I don't have private E, so I can't really judge where I would use her. But I don't really know. I guess Summer Helm would be working on this team with Bunny Milk. If you have private E instead of Helm, because Snow White does generate burst at a decent enough pace. But that team is a bit of a nightmare, and if you do that, I strongly recommend replacing 8 for Grave. The damage boost you get is about the same, but you'll be able to deal with the part QTE a lot easier. Okay, so let's talk about it. As per usual, I'm going to go through the team in order of difficulty, with the hardest first to the easiest one last. So, Bunny Milk. Bunny Milk is probably the most difficult character to play in general, at least to play well in the whole game. I don't think that's really an insane take. So, things to note about her: if you want to deal with parts, right? If you want to deal with parts, you'll need to be either Amberist or Midburst. This is important because otherwise you won't have the attack to one-shot the parts, or at least do enough damage to get close. If you have Grave, it's a little easier and it's a little more forgiving in that point, which is great. Because it's very easy to forget to full charge for longer than usual to get back into that status, right? So, yeah, it is what it is. So, full charge, unload, and then you want to just do the QTEs that are coming, and then here you just hold your full charge to force it, so that, you know, you're ready once these parts are out. And, yeah. Simple enough. I was almost out of time, by the way, here. It's really bad. So here I do something different. I am bursting with Helm. This is so my burst line up better with Milk for the second third of the fight. That way, when I get here, for example, the boss is going to put the high defense shit. Well, Milk is mid-burst, so, you know, this happens. You're able to just deal with that. And then you full charge and get back into the Ember status. It's really important that you pay attention and try to get the embarrassed status as much as you can, because if you forgot here, you will not be able to deal with this at all. And yeah, here you'll have to burst gen for the next one while also dealing with this. It's a bit of a nightmare, but it is what it is. So, another thing you'll note is that I'm going to be bursting with Helm sometimes to keep my HP up, and I'm going to be covering with volume. If you have Rouge, this is a non-issue. Like, just straight up. Because Rouge will just heal you through the entire fight. The boss does not do a whole lot of damage. If you're wondering why volume is eating absolute ass right now, this is because she does not have a single overload to her name. She is raw dogging that shit. So, yeah, it is what it is. So here I'm in mid-burst with Milk. Here you want to basically full charge to actually, yeah, as you can see here, I screwed up. I should have full charge to get into the embarrassed status. Now I can't do damage to these. Once you are in embarrassed status, you get enough attack to actually start doing damage to these again, so it is pretty important to actually do. Another thing you can do is whenever that crush shows up, when the light fades, this is when you want to cover, because after a little bit after that, it's going to just break. So here I screwed up. just straight up, I screwed up, but I just said screw it, there's only 4 seconds left. If you do it right, 3 bill is very doable, and yeah. Snow White is very good on neutral. She does not need to have, like, their entire team working around them to function. This is why she's good in Miranda comps. So, yeah, just something to worth mentioning. So she's gonna just work in general. It is way easier if you have Rouge. Just, again, use Grave if you feel like Bunny 8 is not it. That's probably for your... That's probably going to help you a lot. Team 2! This is SBS Liberalio, and this team, unironically, did more damage than what I did with Milk. It's, yeah. So, little thing of note that I found out after I did this, it is better to burst with Liberalio first. My main did 300 mil over what it did before by bursting with Liberalio first, because SBS's attack lasts longer. So dealing with the really high defense parts is a lot easier if you're bursting with SBS rather than Liberalio. You'll get screwed over a bit later because the rotation is not quite good enough. What ends up happening is that you will swap to the second burst unit, one bursting, and Liberalio is not dealing with these parts nearly as well as SBS is. It is what it is. So here you swap to Litter to deal with the one QTE the fight has. Gonna attempt to look like it's an iron boss, basically. Yeah, so this part, I won't lie, the first burst is going to be rough. This is one you don't have a whole lot of reload speed, and the reason why that matters is quite simple. You will simply not be able to just keep shooting repeatedly. You'll have to make every shot count. But after you're done with that part, it's mostly easy. You will be struggling a fair bit. Like here you can see this is what Liberalio does. For the first 3 seconds, her damage is fine, and then after that she does no damage. If you have SBS, SBS will just break both. No problem. No problem at all. So this is why you want to burst with Liberalio first and then SBS, because 2 of these super high defense part will be there, basically. And here, as you can see, I'm just bursting really quickly and just going through all the motions. It's fine. Here I kept a full charge because, frankly, it doesn't really matter. Anchor's damage is not that great. It's just to get back and burst faster. At the end of the day, you have Letter in this team, so you have the most CDR you can possibly get after 3 burst. And as you can see, Liberalio is struggling with this again. That's just how it is. And then SBS just completely deals with it, no problem. Again, if you are simply using SBS as the second burst, it's going to be fine. And you'll do overall more damage because the death buff the boss has will be gone sooner. And that matters because your damage basically gets absolutely slaughtered for as long as it is up. So yeah. The boss is pretty simplistic after this. I mean, you have heals for days. You just ignore all the mechanic. You just do damage, right? As you can see, Liberalio is struggling again. I mean, I hate to repeat myself, but yeah, Liberalio is only good for the first 3 seconds of her burst on these because she gets that massive attack increase. But SBS just has a 115% attack that lasts for 10 seconds, so she's just able to tear through all of it in one go. This is also one of the reasons I'm using Litter in this comp, to have more attack to break through these faster. But also just because you need an iron unit regardless, right? But yeah, if you're wondering, I did the exact same team on the main, and before I was using Liberalio, I was doing about 3.3 bill, I want to say. And then I swapped bursting with Liberalio, and I was doing 3.6 or something like that. I think I was doing actually 3.1 on the main, which is not too different from this, I think. Yeah, 3.1 here. I think I was doing 3.1 on main. Yeah, and then now I do 3.4. It's a 10% damage increase to just swap who's bursting first. It's really silly. It makes no sense, but, you know. Next up is Shisato and Red Hood. I mean, we are getting into pretty easy territory. Moran makes this fight a snooze fest with basically no effort. She will never die. She has absurd amounts of defense. She will just recover everything in no time. Note that you want to keep the Red Hood Burst 1 for later in the fight. And the reason is quite simple. So that Raven has enough stack of or sustained damage being up, so you get more damage out of the burst itself. And yeah, as you can see, pretty simple. Just DPS it down as much as you can. The part should be fine, and as you can see here, if you're bursting with Red Hood, you'll pulverize the Almighty Shield. If you're bursting with Shisato, she has true damage. So she just doesn't care. It doesn't matter who's bursting here. It's just gonna be completely fine. Yeah, so you're going to see the last 3 teams are all pretty much brain dead. At the end of the day, this one is a little less brain dead because you don't get heals, right? You don't get heals. Takina's missing an overload piece here, by the way. This is mostly because she's bad. So I just don't care. But yeah. Shisato's the one that's actually decent in the team anyway, so... But yeah, I mean, this is pretty easy from there on. There's basically no problem. Here I cover with Takina, because she has no fucking bulk to save her life. As you can see, everyone else is pretty healthy. There's no problem. Yeah. As you can see, this just gets torn apart because, you know, true damage. I tried to burst with Red Hood first, and then bursted with Shisato. The damage is basically the same. It does not change. Since you don't really have a period of time where you have to deal with the stupid shield. But yeah, pretty simple at the end of the day. My Raven on that account is not that good. But yeah, again, pretty simple. Moran basically deals with all the problems you can possibly have, which helps a lot. Now for Team 4, shotguns. Shotgun is, honestly, if it wasn't for the Rappy Mermaid team, this would be the most comfortable team. It is more comfortable than any raid team I had last raid, basically. It is so painless. So, yeah, you just shoot them and they explode instantly. There's no problem here. Here, you have to go through the QTE as much as you can, as fast as you can, because, yeah, as you can see, you run out of burst midway of it. It is what it is. After that, just burst as much as you can. I mean, here, as you can see, I'm destroying them with Dorothy because she buffs her own attack by so much. It's absurd, right? So you're going to be tearing through them really fast. What you want to do is not break through them too fast. You'll want to wait like about 0.5 seconds shooting in the middle before breaking the other part. And in doing so, you're never going to be at a moment where you have to wait for your burst while dealing with the soft QT with all the parts you have to break. This does matter because otherwise you will end up just speeding past the boss, and you're going to be in that window of time where you're not in full burst for 2 or 3 seconds, and it's going to make the time for you to shoot everything much shorter. You're going to see in this version of the fight, because as you can see, it's already happening. It's not too bad until the very last one, in which case it's very easy to miss. I was able to do it fine on this one, but yeah, you have a tight window of time to do it. As you can see, I just don't care about most of it. The laser beam with the cross, whenever the light fades, just cover and you're going to be mostly fine. As you can see, it lines up perfectly to when you're bursting with Dorothy. Once again, no problem. You tear through it in no time. Again, if you're shooting in the middle for about 0.5 seconds before breaking the second one, you're going to be fine, instead of getting this ghetto system where you have to wait for the burst to be allowed by the game. Because you're going to be delaying this mechanic just enough for you to just not have to deal with that cooldown moment. But yeah, other than that, this is really simple. As you can see, there it is again, right when you just bursted with Dorothy, so it just breaks. But yeah, this is just very simple. Dorothy, or sorry, Soda makes it a lot easier because, yeah. Also, yeah, as you can see, Soda doing 1.5 billion damage. That was not in that. I was honestly surprised seeing that, to be honest. She's doing really well here, and I have 35% elemental on her. So, if you had, say, 40% more elemental damage on her, you'd be looking at about 1.8 bill, doubling what Dorothy does. So, yeah, she's fine. She does just fine. It's better to use her than Summer Helm here because of this. It's really weird. Like, if you have semi-okay overloads, you're going to be doing even better than I am. And then Team 5 is the Rappy team. So, once again, similar to another team, you're going to be bursting with Eve first. Yeah, this is when I figured out that this is something that could actually matter for your damage. I believe I improved my damage by about 300 to 400 mil doing this. So, yeah. Here, you just wait until Rappy breaks something, and then you just finish off what's left. This is also the other reason why Rappy prefers to burst second, because it coincides with all the parts spawning, and it means that once she shoots and it blows and it hits every part, her damage also gets multiplied by like 10. So like 50, 57, 64. I just jumped by 70 mil in one go because of that one poof. And yeah, this allows you to basically line up Rappy bursting with this a few times, which helps a lot. But yeah, this is honestly pretty easy. Also, now you're bursting here with, Rappy, so it's easier to break the parts, which is also quite nice. And yeah, main reason why you're using Eve here and not somewhere else is just because she just never stops shooting. But also, you know, it's another iron that benefits Mermaid so that she can do more bubbles. Again, Ludmilla is not the play for this team. If you have Summer Helm, it is just straight up better. I don't have Summer Helm on my ult. It's a free-to-play ult. I just didn't have the orbs when she came, and after that I was like, I don't know if I care. And yeah, here you can see how the damage just goes to a screeching halt until you're bursting again. It is what it is. Oh, by the way, yeah, there's no healer, and can you tell? No, I can't. It is kind of wild. If you're wondering why I'm reloading so fast with Rappy, it's quite simple. I am simply running Resilience on her because there's Crown's buff as well, so you get to a point where you don't have to babysit how much ammo she has going into her burst because her reload takes no time, right? It's just less annoying. Obviously, you do more with Bastion, I guess. Not by too much, but you would. I just can't be bothered. As you can see here, if you're bursting with Eve, you're probably going to do fine breaking these. Yeah. Obviously, if you're bursting with Rappy, it's even better, but it is what it is. And there you go. I broke them instantly, and that netted me quite a bit of damage for free. They have limited HP, so being able to just poof them in one go with Rappy like this to just make her damage explode is really nice to have. But yeah, Ludmilla is only there because she has a damage taken debuff, which boosts your damage a bit. Mihara is worse in this team than Ludmilla, by the way, if you're wondering. Ludmilla just boosts the whole team's damage, and that's better overall than just having Mihara doing damage. Mihara does almost no damage on this boss. I don't really get why. Actually, no, I know why. It's because she doesn't buff her own attack, and the boss has a lot of defense. So, she ends up doing about 400 mil. Ludmilla does 200, but the 10%-ish damage taken she inflicts, you increase your damage overall by like an extra 300 mil, if not more. So it makes it overall better. But yeah, that's about it. That's the boss. Oh, also, if you're wondering, that's from my main though. My main's Raven is really strong, but still. That's about all I have to say about the raid. Hopefully this helps a few people. And yeah. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good rest of the day, or